Hi guys, Jen here with Astrology and Earth Magic, and today I'm going to provide a little astrological wisdom to guide us through the upcoming new moon in Leo that's coming up on Thursday the 24th at 2 degrees 8 minutes of Leo at about 3:11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on New England on the East Coast. So when the sun is in Leo, it shines its brightest. Sun is the ruler of the sign of Leo. The new Leo moon is a harmonious flow of energy. It blends our emotions with our self-expression. We are at the heart of summer right now, and so as with all new moons, this is a time for new starts, planted seeds, and for new ideas, new plans, and even a new feeling you might be having. So it's something that, just like in the summer, something that you can nurture, drinking in the sunlight, something, needed to survive, drinking in that sunlight and just blooming and blossoming with that sun. And so just like in the garden pretty much, so which is coming to their first full harvest, which is with the Sabbat of Lammas that's coming up right around the corner on August 1st. And this is where we bake the bread of the first harvest. So the new moon can also be a building upon what we've already created. So it's adding a new layer or a new nuance. So adding and building upon something that we've already achieved in our lives and just making it that much more bigger, better. Especially with this new moon in Leo, it's a great time to just build on our own self-confidence and our own leadership skills. Leo is about that leader of the pride and the one that takes the reins and just being in control. Really letting your heart shine. So just really let that heart shine and let your energy really shine through, and try and put yourself in the spotlight, because maybe something's coming up where you might need to be in the spotlight, or you might not have a choice. So you want to try and work on that self-esteem to make you feel a little bit more confident. But you want to check your chart. So of course, pull your chart. You always should, to see where this is going to fall in your life, to see where Leo falls in your life, and what area of your life is going to be affected by this new moon. So, is it a big important speech that you have coming up? Maybe you're going to teach or lead a class or workshop of some sort, taking the reins maybe of a big project you have coming up. Maybe you're training somebody new at work, maybe an assistant or something's coming in where you're going to be kind of showing the way. Maybe it's just going to be showing off your passion in some way or another. Pride in your work, displaying like, look at what I've done, and just being proud of that and your achievements. At this time, you might need to build that more confidence, to begin that journey and drive your passion. So sometimes it might be hard to really get yourself started and really get yourself motivated and, feel like, okay, I can be this standout. And sometimes it is hard to get going. But you know what? Be unapologetically you. Be proud of who you are, no matter who that is. Take charge of your life. You are special in your own way, and you don't have to fit in with a mold. So if you are a little bit different, a little bit quirky, still you want to be able to shine. Be that protector also, devoted to those that you care about. Be devoted to those that have your heart, and you'll see that will come back in return. The more love and protection and devotion that you give out, the more you're going to give back, because people they feel that appreciation that you have. But so these are all the good, happy things with a new moon in Leo, is just, building that self-confidence and putting yourself out there, and you're like, I'm strong and I'm ready to go. But with this new moon, unfortunately, it's going to be a bit more difficult. So if you're already having some difficulties kind of putting yourself in the limelight, this will be a little bit tough for you, because contrarily, you might want to just shrink back even further, just kind of backing out of the spotlight. Why is that? What else is going on in the chart? So you should be feeling like the center of the universe, but you're not. And why? Because we have so much retrogrades going on. So we have a lot of this that's kind of going to be holding us back. We have Pluto, first of all, that went back in March. We have Neptune that went on the 4th of July. We have Saturn and Mercury that just stationed today, actually. So hope all this goes around well. We have them all retrograde at the same time as the new moon. So I made a video of that. Definitely check it out to see how this might affect you and all of these differences. Because, you know, everyone has heard about Mercury retrograde where there might be issues with electronics and things like that. But all the retrogrades mean something, and they're all about kind of looking back and maybe looking back in retrospect, maybe starting over, maybe starting fresh, or maybe just kind of getting a new, fresh new start in some way, kind of like a redo. The Mercury retrograde for this new moon, though, is making a big impact. One factor we face with all the retrogrades is, again, that trouble getting started, getting motivated. With the Neptune retrograde, it actually puts focus on not on our egos the way that like a Leo would put the focus on our egos. This is going to put it more at a spiritual plane. So it kind of takes away from that ego and makes you kind of more like a metamorphosis that you want to put forward, maybe a more spiritual kind of thing, where pride takes on more of that self-love dynamic and not an egotistical one. If this bug flies in my mouth. So just warning you guys if I start gagging all of a sudden. So and also with Neptune retrograde, we're going to be a little bit more introspective, looking for a deeper meaning to our dreams and what we actually want. So standing out in the spotlight, going after those dreams, you know, being that sun, being that motivation. You might be rethinking that a little bit, like, what do I really want, and what do I really want to get out of life, and, you know, what am I really dreaming about? What do I really want to happen in my life that's logical? Now the Saturn retrograde, this is a karmic learning experience, and this is learning lessons that are sometimes going to be difficult. Saturn isn't always going to be your best friend. It can be difficult at times. It can feel unkind, and especially if we do have underlying issues with self-confidence, because Saturn is the last of the, you know, not outer planets. It's the last one. It's the gatekeeper. So it's that cold, dry, way out there kind of by itself type planet. You might be feeling like that with this, you know, Saturn retrograde. You just don't feel maybe deserving enough, and you'll have that, you know, self-doubt feeling that's kind of throwing those self-made obstacles in your way, like, I can't do this because X, I can't do this because X, you know, giving yourself excuses to not get started on what your dream is and moving forward. A little conversation I just had with a girl at work today kind of reminds me of this. She has a family member that's moving across the country, and she's really upset about it. And I said, oh, it's so beautiful out there, and this is like me and my husband's dream, but, you know, who knows if it ever will really happen. And she said to me, don't give up dreaming. You will make it happen if you really put your mind to it. And she's exactly right. And these are the things that will, like, oh, well, I have this job, I have, you know, this and that and that, and here's all my excuses, A to Z. But that's just, again, giving excuses. So if it's a dream that is really a logical dream, well, Pick's having a blast. If it's a logical dream that you can somehow make happen, work on it. Maybe tweak it a little bit. Tweak, you know, with that Neptune retrograde, tweak what you're actually looking for. So maybe if you are trying to move across the country, it's going to be, okay, we're going to maybe, you know, travel across the country a little bit more often. Maybe we're going to buy a timeshare, who knows what, but you know what I mean. You know, it's kind of like going in retrospect and kind of changing things up a little bit, looking back and saying, like, okay, let's kind of rethink this a little bit. And then, you know, of course, with Saturn, we're always afraid that that negative side is going to start, because that's going to be in the spotlight because of that karma. So if you have anything that, you know, might come back up and bite you in the ass, like you say, something that you've been doing that maybe is a little not that great, maybe a little bad karma inducing, this might come back to get you because you're in the spotlight. So putting yourself in the spotlight might have those negative things reflect back on you. So keep that in mind too. That's why you always just want to be a good person. Do your best. And of course, with the Mercury retrograde, there is that, fear of miscommunication, and of course things going wrong with, electronics and things like that. But a lot of overworking brains and, rethinking things and, overthinking things. And then maybe again with that mixed communications, maybe text or email is taken out of context. You text something and it's meant to be a joke or something, and someone takes it seriously, and or words are spoken that are taken the wrong way, and somebody ends up being hurt in the long run. And this likely would be in more personal relationships. And why is that? Because first of all, Mercury is a personal planet, but when it could have us really trying to take back words that we say that are hurtful, kind of again doing a rewind, trying to let's and start this again. This is especially going to be felt on a personal level because of the Venus square to Mars, and the Venus is in Gemini and Mars is in Virgo, and those two signs are both ruled by Mercury, which is currently retrograde. So we have a square between Venus and Mars, our two personal planets that are kind of like the big relationship planets, with Mercury kind of just fucking with them, I guess you could say, just really, miscommunication. So if you do already have cracks in relationships, and this could be with people at work, this could be with your personal relationships, even friendships, any kind of personal relationships that already have cracks, they could be a little bit deeper because you might say the wrong thing that, in words, a lot of times you can't take them back because those are the things that really stick. Mercury retrograde affecting all of this personal planets. So you don't want to get started off on the wrong foot. With this new moon, you don't want to get started off on kind of that negativity that these retrogrades are bringing. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to really start these things, especially if it's a project or a relationship, because you don't want to get it started off on the wrong foot. This could be with already relationships bringing up things from the past. Well, now we're trying to do this. Well, remember this happened. So is that going to happen again? You're going to be getting a lot of that when you're starting stuff, especially in your relationships. So you're going to be getting a lot of, maybe things popping up from the past that, again, are going to bite you in the ass. Reliving, rehashing old disagreements that could come back up, stuff that you thought you already exhausted and you already got over with, or maybe something, happens again. So if there was an issue that happened in the past, maybe something will happen again. So be on the lookout for that in your personal relationships, and especially look at and see where all this falls again. So Mercury is going to actually be getting into a conjunction, applying conjunction with this new moon. So it's coming together. So Mercury moving retrograde, coming towards the sun and the moon that are moving direct, all in Leo, so all moving together. So that dynamicism that Leo has is going to come together, and I think it's going to be kind of an explosion when they finally do come together anyway. So again, past traumas could be coming back up. So if you're getting into a new relationship, maybe things that bothered you from your last relationship are coming back again, and they're haunting you, and you're kind of saying, well, don't do this, and I never did that was a past relationship or something, or issues with a past even job. I know I have issues with the job I'm at now, which I just got about 6 months ago, where I'm nervous to do some things because of the way I was treated in my previous job. So, you don't want to step on any toes, and you don't want to, because there was a lot of he said, she said at that past job, but this job, it's just not like that. And I know you can't look at them the same way, but sometimes you can't help but bring that back up. And as of late, especially even today, I was having a lot of that stress, that mental anxiety, to do with like, oh, I don't want to make the same mistakes, or I don't want to have, the same animosities that you had, because things are going so well right now. So you just want to keep that in mind. So the retrogrades, again, they throw up those self-made obstacles that your mind just kind of gets overworked sometimes. And especially me being an air sign, my mind is totally going at all times. So beware of that, and just take that moment to be a little bit zen. Do that introspection, go into yourself and just like, I can do this, I'm calm, I'm capable, and I'm overthinking this. And know that a lot of it is just in your head, and you just need to work your way through it. So we don't want to just keep bringing up the past. We want to start fresh, and that's what these new moons are all about, is starting fresh, leaving what you don't need anymore behind. And even if you are building upon something that you have created, if you're building a new layer on something, it's building upon something that's worked. You're not building upon something that didn't work. And once you make that next step, you're going to get rid of like, okay, so I'm making this way, I don't need this anymore, so I'm going to push this aside, and I'm just going to stay with this and focus on this. So it's like you're building on what worked and getting rid of what didn't work. So again, you might be second guessing yourself, overthinking our own personal or past failures or mistakes coming back to haunt us. And this could be literally just those past mistakes. So we're also going on with this new moon is we could be very obsessive. That obsession could be that all-consuming, like, I can't get this out of my head, I can't stop thinking about this, and it's just all consuming, like I said. And you're faced to confront your deepest fears and emotions because you're forced to look back at things that might have bothered you from the past, and it can feel like almost a crisis of self. And again, like, these are things that we're all kind of feeling a little bit like that the whole world is in crisis right now. But as we wane down from that full moon we had in Capricorn, which has us rethinking a lot of our successes, how we got there, the person that we become, are we proud of ourselves? And especially how others see us. So those are things that we might still be second guessing, and might want to think about all that and say, you know what? I'm not happy with this, so I'm gonna stop doing this. I'm not happy with this, I'm gonna stop doing this. And again, this is like what I'm saying about that overthinking things, and that I do all the time, overthinking and stressing and worrying. And these are the things that I want to stop building on and get away from and leave in the past to build a new fresh start, where I am with work or just with life in general. And just because, things are going well, when you feel things are going well, you don't want to overthink and bring in the negative, bring back that negative that doesn't need to be there. So this, could be like a catharsis, a deep soul cleansing, just like, I'm just going to be a different person. I'm going to be more confident. I'm going to be this, that, whatever. I'm going to, stick my chest out and let my heart shine. You want to embrace this. You want to be vulnerable, be open to renewal that's going to come after this deep self-reflection, because this can be, again, the opportunity for growth and healing. What I like about this chart, and I don't have it up behind me, and I apologize for that, but if you look at the chart, with the new moon is actually opposite Pluto, and that's what's giving us that obsession. That's what's giving us that, I need to make this complete transformation. So we have the new moon opposite Pluto, but then going across we have and of course, so if that's in Leo, Pluto's in Aquarius, so you see how that goes straight. And then going across this way, we have the Venus Mars square. So if you look at the chart, there is just a big red cross right in the middle. And to me, that is again just a symbol of that spiritual reconnection that, you know, no matter what you believe or what you think of an actual crucifix, it's still a spiritual kind of symbol that I think just makes you want to go and just fix yourself and just, you know, I just want to make a new start and get rebirth. Just like, you know, where's the cross come from? When Jesus was sacrificed on it and came back, rebirth, you know, came back from the dead. That's what this Pluto opposite the new moon, it's coming back as a new and better person, helping us prepare for that complete transformation of mind and body that's coming up on the horizon. And, you know, we are going through this for a reason, because we have to grow as a people to be able to go along with these changes that are coming up in the world. So, you know, we want to prepare for the changes at hand by fixing our inner selves and being able to really shine bright. So get to know yourself on a whole new, you know, on a whole new level, a whole new way. Can just transform the life that you have into the better life that you've always wanted when you finally know and realize what it is that you really want. So don't settle and don't be complacent. Of course, those are the worst things that you could do. You don't want to just be where things are good enough. You want to be where your dreams are. So please let me know what you think about this in the comments. Whether your comment is good, bad, you know, stop having your cat running around in the background, I don't care. Leave comments. It really helps boost the channel, and it helps to get me to leave behind what you guys don't like and go forward with the things that you do like. So help me out a little bit so I can use this new moon for benefit for all of us, so we can grow together as a channel and as a group. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Hit the like button and be sure to subscribe. And if you haven't, definitely check out, and I'm going to link it at the end here, but definitely check out the all the retrogrades video where I get a little more in depth about all that. And I hope to see y'all soon. Bye bye.